A group of organizations across the country coming together serving a huge purpose as one. Our founder and chairman, Dr. James Jones Sr., believes that being a blessing to someone else is the most important thing that a human being can do. Different people, same purpose, Simply United. With the over 50 initiatives that Simply United together has, it's very easy for you to get in where you fit in and make a difference today.
All right. What's up, people? So welcome back. So, as I get into the meat and potatoes of the show tonight, I just want to discuss. So I'm gonna let you know now. So I like to prepare you all for get your mind set for the show tonight and the topic that we're going to talk about tonight. So every week, each show we have a topic of the night. So I want to get your minds prepared for tonight's topic, which is, I think, it's a good one, being that, so of course, I come around to go to the barbershop and I talk to different people and we have just great conversations. And this came up a few weeks ago and I want to get your mind set before you chime in, and I'll open up the phone lines in about 15 minutes or so. But the topic was simple. If you met someone and their children's father is not involved in their life and there is no child support filed, is it breaking the man code to encourage the woman to seek financial assistance from the father? What breaks the man code when it comes to this? Now, I want you all to think about this, ladies and the fellas, before you chime in. I want you all to think about this and get your questions and your thoughts together, because this is going to be, I think, a good one. Another good conversation that should definitely be discussed, because it's something that it kind of happens in pillow talk and it kind of happens in relationships, but some people just don't know how to correctly handle it, or know when it happens, nobody comes to somebody and talk about it. So, I can speak on it from personal and non-personal. And so get your mindset. That's going to be the question of the night. Until then, let's definitely get into some news that you all can use.
Your attention, please. This is an important announcement.
So, I got some stories, and I want to see where I want to start tonight with, because first and foremost, I want to start off with definitely rest in peace to the brother Charlie Murphy and the Murphy family. Charlie Murphy, for those who don't know, is a comedic pioneer. Needless to say, of course, he's been in the shadows for a while of his brother, of course, Eddie Murphy. But the brother, Charlie, stepped out into his own throughout the years. And the most noted is of course, David Chappelle Show. And the David Chappelle Show, of course, he definitely had we all know the famous Rick James situation and the Prince story. And what's funny is that a lot of the skits that he wrote a lot of the skits, and he's been a writer on the show, him and Ashley Larry, and I forgot his real name. But a quick brief history. Charlie Murphy passed away from leukemia. He battled leukemia for years, kind of kept it private. The Brooklyn native as well. He, I know for those who don't remember, he was in the movie CB4. He portrayed Gusto in that. He did on the Chappelle Show. I was trying to remember a specific name and I had it written down. Was the Charlie Murphy True Hollywood Stories, which was to me by far one of the best skits ever on the Chappelle Show. Damn, that's like classic TV. That he was in the movie with Lottery Ticket, King's Ransom. He was in that as well. He had his own comedy special too, though, which was actually funny as well. He was on a show. Excuse me, y'all. The show Black Jesus that was on Adult Swim, and many others. But he, a comedic genius along with his brother. He was, and Eddie even admitted before he passed away, and that's what you got to honor people before they die and give kudos to people before they die. He was like his brother, and being that Charlie is his older brother, he stated that he was the motivation behind him getting out there doing comedy, and he pushed his brother to do comedy. And needless to say, Eddie Murphy, of course, is a pioneer, a comedic pioneer as well. But Charlie Murphy is going to be truly missed, and hopefully I can find this clip from the show, and I definitely want to remember him in due fashion as such. Great comedic writer. But so I want to get into some more news you can use, of course. So while everything's been going on in Atlanta with the bridge collapse, and now the brother, and I'm going to get into the story about that too as well, the brother in Gwinnett County who was apprehended by the police and then kicked and beaten. It turned into a whole Rodney King situation, but not as bad. But I want to get into this story. The body of Sheila Abdul Salam. She was the country's first female Muslim judge. Her body was found in the Hudson River. So the body of Sheila Abdul Salam, she was the first Muslim woman to serve as a U.S. judge. And this happened, her body was found Wednesday at the floating in the Hudson River. Salam, she was fully clothed, floating near 132nd Street and Hudson Parkway around 1:45 p.m. The 65-year-old associate judge of the Court of Appeals was reported missing from her home in Harlem earlier that day. Her body was identified by her husband. Sources say there are no signs of trauma or foul play. Her death appears to be a suicide. And so, quote, Justice Sheila Abdul Salam was a trailblazing jurist whose life in public service was in pursuit of a more fair and more just New York for all, Governor Cuomo wrote in a statement. She was a pioneer through her writings, her wisdom, and her unshakable moral compass. She was a force for good whose legacy will be felt for years to come. I was proud to appoint her to the state's highest court and am deeply saddened by her passing. I think this is a very suspicious situation. Here's why. It was made public that she was a devoted Muslim, and she's a judge, and then she commits suicide. I mean, you think she just walked? I mean, first of all, and I'm not trying to make fun of her death, but I do have to make a little joke on this. Black folks don't do water, okay? First of all, that much. Let alone to do a suicide. You just fully clothed. You just decide to just jump in the water. That don't sound nowhere near like a normal situation. But I want to say rest in peace to the Salam family, and assalamu alaikum to the sister, because that's a real interesting situation, and I don't understand how she just, I mean, at least her body was found. Hopefully all her body parts were intact, because, you know, I talked about this. You know, these black folks come up missing and they body parts are missing, etc. Just like, you know, what was funny, this was another thing that was missed in the news, and I'm not even have a story behind this, but retired Braves player Otis Nixon, great renowned baseball player, and he came up missing in Atlanta. And you know, we got to be our brothers, sisters, and keepers, because I don't know what's going on, but black folks just don't come delusional like that unless they really suffering for something to come up missing. And yeah, I think that was a very, very crazy situation, but let's be mindful of that as well. So here's something very interesting. I spoke on this a few weeks ago, and I try to forewarn you that I think Trump is the type of person who's going to do what he wants to do regardless of what you think. And here's one thing to prove this, you all. While news of bombs over Afghanistan and missiles in Syria have been occupying news coverage, Donald Trump has quietly signed a new law that will allow states to defund Planned Parenthood. Now, some people think this is a victory, and some people think this is definitely a loss for the community, for a lot of communities, and I think it is as well. I spoke on this. If you didn't get a chance to listen, go back a few episodes, and I spoke on the Planned Parenthood issue and the significance behind it. So, the controversial move overturns President Obama's Health and Human Service rule that once protected the family planning organization. President Obama's rule was put in place last year, prevented states from defunding health providers unless they were no longer able to deliver services to program beneficiaries in an effective manner. Now, thanks to Trump, states can withhold federal funding from organizations such as Planned Parenthood simply because they administer abortions as just one of the many other services they provide. However, it should be noted that the Hyde Amendment, which has been in place for over 40 years, prevents federal funding from being used for abortions in the first place. Title X funding covered contraceptions, pap smears, pregnancy tests, and other various preventive health care services for low-income Americans. However, if you needed an abortion, you had to pay out of pocket. Despite long-standing laws being in place, Trump has still chosen to allow Planned Parenthood to be defunded. And this is, quote, "If you're serious about trying to reduce the number of abortions, the best way to do that is to make family planning more widely available," said Republican Senator Susan Collins of Maine, who opposed the law. And she, quote again, "Women's worst fears are now coming true. We are facing the worst political attack on women's health in a generation as lawmakers have spent the past 3 months trading away women's health and rights at every turn," Dawn Loggins, executive president of Planned Parenthood, said in a statement. So I had some ladies who were, and I think I spoke on this I did an episode Ladies Night. You can refer back to the episode Ladies Night. And I spoke on this, and I tried to forewarn you all about this. I think some people took it as not a good time to talk about it because I was dedicating the show for Ladies Night and etc. But I was trying to forewarn you all that what was transpiring in the government and what was transpiring as far as Planned Parenthood and government programming and etc. I went through the whole list, I believe, the following week of government programs that are being funded and what got increased and what got decreased. And Planned Parenthood was a topic of discussion because simply you're dealing with abortions and etc. So ladies, yeah, this is very, 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 very touchy subject, and hopefully somehow this could be changed soon. So speaking of women's empowerment, let's get into Caitlyn. Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner, formerly known as Bruce Jenner, now has officially came out that, damn, I don't even know how to say this. If his mama called him Bruce, I'm gonna call him Bruce. But Caitlyn Jenner has come out that he they're undergoing gender